Hey, AfterBuzz TV Shark Tank fans, we are back and better than ever. Today we'll be discussing Season 9, Episodes 8 and 9, so stick with us as we power through and have some fun.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Bum, 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 bum. I love the music.
I do too. It's intense. It gets me going.
I know.
We're ready to do the show.
We are really ready because we have 8 products to get through tonight. But before we do, let's introduce ourselves. Hey everyone, I am Zoe Hewitt. As always, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RealZoeHewitt. And sitting to my left.
Hi guys, I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you can find me on all social media, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter at Kels Hightower.
Now we've got to address the elephant in the room, and that's the fact that what has been going on with us this season? Well, we did try a new format, so thank you everyone for sticking with us through the new format, but we realized through all of you fans saying you missed us, we decided to come back in the traditional after show format. AfterBuzz listened to you, listened to your requests, so thank you for making your voices heard. Thanks for watching, and we are excited to talk Shark Tank, and I also know Fantasy Stats Guru, you are already in the chat again, so thank you because we have definitely missed you. So what we decided to do, since we've got 8 products tonight, is we are going to spend the most time on the ones that we just found the most interesting to talk about. Not that they weren't all interesting, but we've got to power through. We can't be here all night. So let's talk first, no mustache.
Yes.
Jennifer and Gita were in the tank. They were asking $100,000 in exchange for 25% of their company. And basically this was a portable waxing system, very discreet in little tins, so that if women are out and about, it was geared specifically to women. They notice they have a little facial hair. Get out the wax, warm it in your hands, slap on the wax strip, peel it off, done. Nice and clean. Did you feel like all the sharks thought at the beginning a little awkward to discuss?
Well, the guys did for sure, because they don't know about this. And the kind of the cool thing I like about this product is that it's a cold wax. It's not a hot wax, and so it's portable. You can put that anywhere, take it anywhere. It's very small, discreet, like you mentioned. But the guys, they didn't know what this was, if it was important, like anything like that. Mark was like, why don't you just shave if you got a mustache? It's like, are you kidding me? You don't say that to a girl. Like, they have no clue, no idea. So yes, this is obviously geared towards women. It's a woman's product, and that's okay. I mean, I know Kevin had kind of a problem with that because he's like, you're cutting out 50% of the population. But if you look at all the products geared towards women, I mean, makeup, all sorts of other products that are out there, especially like since they're selling at Sephora and they're right at the checkout line. I mean, think about all that products. If you go into Victoria's Secret, Forever 21, H&M, J. Crew, like any store you go to, they have little displayed items right there at the checkout, and this is the perfect spot to have this product.
And one of the interesting things, speaking of Sephora, so Sephora has, let's see how many stores. They have 200 stores total, but they're only in Sephora in 60 stores. So they were in a lot more, and they actually were cut down, which was something that concerned the sharks. Yeah. But one of the reasons I wanted to discuss this product in particular, because I thought that the deal and some of the negotiating was really interesting. So Bethany Frankel was in the tank. She was a fill-in shark, and if you don't know who she is, she's famous for her Skinny Girl brand, which encompasses a lot of consumables. So she started with low-calorie drink mixes and branched out. But what's interesting is and she wanted to brand this as Skinny Girl. And it was interesting because one of the sharks made a point of saying, wait a minute, Jennifer and Gita, do you get that she wants to take your brand away? And she did an about face. Were you surprised?
I was very surprised on this. I definitely caught what she was trying to do there and put Skinny Girl, put this product under Skinny Girl. But I'm really, the girls went into the tank wanting to have a strong female shark. That is what they wanted, and you could tell that when they were going back and forth with Kevin, and then Lori and Bethany got on it. Even when Kevin was like making the best deal, I think that might have been the better deal if for a normal product, or if a normal entrepreneur is going in there. But what they wanted was they wanted the strong female powerhouse behind it. So do you think that they went with a good choice with both Bethany and Lori, or do you think that they should have gone with Kevin and that kind of more watered down deal.
No, I think they made the right choice, and I want to back up then so we can explain to all of you listening and watching, and you fantasy stats guru, what we're talking about with these deals. So Kevin first made an offer, $100,000 for 10% with a $1 royalty up to $300,000. So once he got that back, then that would drop off. So 10%, and originally, remember, they had brought up the 25. They had asked for a 25% or offered that. So Bethany's offer originally was $100,000 for 40%. But she also said she wanted to make it into a kit, like sort of an emergency kit for women. Lori definitely jumped on board with that. And there was some back and forth countering, and the countering mostly hit at the royalties. So first we had a 35% counter, royalty dropped to 75 cents. But finally the deal was $200,000 in royalties with the 25% equity. What was interesting to me is that Kevin, Lori, and Bethany went in together, all jumped on it. I was shocked, actually, at how much Kevin wanted this product.
Me too.
I couldn't believe it.
He was fighting for it, especially
Yes.
for when he started off saying you're cutting off 50% of the population. This isn't going to be great. And then he was fighting for it till the very end, which was interesting. Do you think that they made the better choice? Because I think with Kevin's deal, he was focused on just what they had, their product, the no mustache.
Right.
And with Lori and Bethany, they were focused on expanding the products and making it all these other emergency kits for women and stuff like that. So what do you think would have been the better deal? What do you think? Do you think they made the right choice?
I do think they made the right choice. I think they didn't have a lot of company to begin with, and that this was by far the right choice for them. Definitely.
I think that'll be
down.
good. I'll be looking forward to that because, I mean, you think about these little on the go things. It's so easy to pick up when you're at the front. You know, when you're at the front of a store and you're shopping, and it's easy to just like add that to your purchase. And it's good for like Christmas is coming around the corner, and like I'm starting to already think about Christmas presents.
No way, Christmas presents to like your best friend. Here, like Jennifer, have a wax system for your upper lip.
Hey,
No.
you know, you got it's more like a stocking stuffer for your friends or a gag gift or something. I mean,
gift, maybe.
come on, they're cute, they're fun. Why not? You know, like if it's for my best friend, we know everything about each other. There's no surprises, people. No surprises.
I suppose so. I want to go back to doing something that we were doing last season. We did an in or out. So would you have invested? Fantasy stats. I know that you are not the right gender for this product, but let us know if you would have invested. So Kelsey, would you have invested, yay or nay?
I would have invested just solely for the purpose of my stocking stuffer idea.
I would have invested too. I think that this is a product that could definitely sell, and I do think they made the right choice.
I like it.
Really cool. Fantasy stats. Let us know. Fantasy stats said buying this for someone would be like getting someone deodorant. So Merry Christmas.
Merry
Have some
Christmas.
secrets.
Hey, you know what kind of presents I give.
We know what to get Kelsey, guys. Okay, let's talk Snoopy
I have
Bee.
good hygiene. What are you talking about? I'm good. Okay.
So let's talk Snoopy Bee. Mike and Amy were up in the tank, $85,000 in exchange for 10%. Now, they are parents to 5 children. I feel like back to back the last couple of weeks, we've seen some big families.
We have.
And this is basically a diaper pad that's used to keep babies' hands away from their faces. So it sort of Velcros around them to create this sort of like cone of shame for the baby.
I know.
Now, I think people buy baby things like out the wazoo. So it seems like a good idea to me. What do you think?
Yeah, we saw the demonstration and it worked with the baby. You know, they had all the toys and trinkets like hanging off the side of it, and you know, so much entertainment. So I mean, it worked. You could see the baby was entertained and it did its job. And I am the oldest of how many? 3 brothers and sisters, and so I have changed some diapers in my day, let me tell you, and they are gross and messy, and babies just waddle around, like even if they're not putting their hands places, they're moving and turning and stuff. So if you entertain them, you know, bring their attention somewhere else, then it's gonna do the job. So I think it's a good idea, and I think it was very smart that they patented the whole movement part of it, or the cone part of it. That way, like they were talking about, you can license it, or they can, do that for other companies. So I think that was pretty smart.
Well, their patent was pending, the utility patent, but they did say they were a year away. And the sharks, I thought,
that's
sat
true.
up a little bit like, ooh, a year.
Yeah.
But it seems like people buy so much baby stuff. And at first, when they were starting to put it up, did you think they were just going to tie the baby's arms down? Because that's what I thought was coming.
I didn't go there. I have to be honest. I didn't go there.
I thought it was like baby straight jacket coming up.
Sometimes you probably want to with babies. I know that's not PC. I'm sorry.
So Fantasy Stats, since I know there's somewhat of a delay, let us know. You get started letting us know. I know you say you hate shaving about the no mustache. You were tempted to invest, but you're out. So we get that. Let's finish talking Snoofy Bee. So they did get an offer from Lori. They got a couple offers, but they did do the deal with Lori. Let's discuss that one. $100,000 for 20% was her offer. She brought up her special section in Bye Bye Baby, all of her retail. They countered. They wound up at $120,000 for 20%. So remember, they were asking for $85,000, so she gave them more money. Not bad, right?
That's a good deal, I think.
Good deal.
And it's the perfect shark to do that with.
Yes. Oh,
I was thinking
yes.
from the very beginning, I was like, I feel like this is one for Lori.
absolutely. This is like a QVC, retail,
Yes.
everything, all the way.
Yes.
This is a Lori.
I can see this in Bed Bath & Beyond soon.
Yes. Bye Bye Baby, Toys R Us. Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy, actually, so I don't know if
Maybe not Toys R Us.
Maybe not Toys R Us. So let's move on to number 3, since I know we wanted to discuss that one a little further. Dream Pad, Randall is in the tank, $800,000 for 10%, which is actually a little bit better than some that we've seen with these low percentages. Now, this is basically a pillow that plays music and vibrates. I know he said it was more than that, but it's a vibrating pillow. Come on.
I guess so. I mean, I haven't got to try it, so we don't know, but he said it's not... I mean, he was very passionate about this. You could tell. And you could tell that when somebody was saying that it's like putting on a stereo, he's like, that's not what it is, like, at all. Like, it's so much more, you know, all that sort of stuff. But I think what he was trying to explain is he had mentioned that with your radio or stereo, it's drowning out or canceling out the white noise. And with this, it's using the vibrations to go internally into your ear or whatever.
He said it's going into your inner ear.
To your inner ear. And I am not so sciencey, so I don't know that I understand it. I'd probably have to try this out or test it out myself to really understand, like, if it's working or relaxing you or if it just feels like your phone's on, you know?
Yes. And I feel like, does it go all night long? That just seems so long to me.
For me, this isn't a product that really reached out to me personally that I was like super excited about when I heard it, because I like it to be quiet. If anything, I'll put the fan on, or I'll do like maybe a little meditation app like we saw at the very beginning of this season. Meditation app before you go to sleep to really get you to go to sleep and be calm. But noise just doesn't do it for me when I go to sleep. I don't like to listen to music to go to sleep.
Me either.
I don't watch TV. I don't leave the TV on when I'm sleeping. So this wasn't speaking to me at all anyways.
Speaking to you like a pun. It wasn't speaking or playing music. And Judy just joined us in the chat too.
Hey, Judy.
She says that she dozed off during this one. I know. It's just, and that's why I wanted to talk about this, because I felt so passionately that I did not understand this product. Like,
I felt passionately against the product.
I actually wondered if it was one of those that they threw in as kind of a joke.
Well, the biggest thing is he was asking for $800,000 for 10%. So his valuation was incredibly high, and I think that was the big shock value. And I feel like that's might have been why they threw that in there, because we don't see these big numbers all very often.
Although I feel like lately every product is a big number. It's like I want $1 million for 0.5%.
That's true.
That's what's coming.
True.
And he did actually have some sales behind him. $600,000 in sales since last November. And if we assume this was shot at least 6 months ago, that's a very short amount of time. He is predicting $1.2 million with profit of $150,000. But this pillow is $159. And he said, don't think of it as a pillow. It's a relaxation device. It's $159.
I know. But yeah, and I guess he calls it a pad, a dream pad, but it's still, you still see a pillow. When you look at it, you see a pillow. And I think what we heard from all the sharks, which I can totally agree with, is that they loved the product. They said it was a great product, but the valuation was just too high, and that was it. And Randall, we've moved on. We've moved on to another person. Randall, he said that him and his partner had talked about it. So he has another investor or somebody else. And he's also the two of them have put in $1.2 million into this company. So, I mean, you could tell when you've invested that much money, you're probably not going to sway too easily on bringing that valuation down.
You're not. And they did go back and forth. They did actually get an offer from Lori, and there was some back and forth, but she said that the equity was just too low, and 15% was as high as he was willing to go. Yep. But Fantasy Stats says that, yes, I know, not $1.59. I did get that. Last season, there was this psychic butter that I thought was only like $1 something because that's how much butter should cost. No, it was over $100. I'm still upset about that because I still don't understand spending that much on butter. But Fantasy Stats also brings up that the vibration might be used for other things. So I wonder how much vibration there really is in this pillow.
Yikes.
You get a lot all in one with this one.
This is just a wreck all around, I tell ya.
So this was no deal, and I have to say I wasn't even convinced he really wanted one as much as he wanted the advertisement. What do you think?
I think that's kind of, you could kind of tell. He wasn't budging. He didn't really seem too hurt that nobody was taking it down.
Didn't seem upset at all. So would you have invested in or out?
No, I don't. I think I made that clear.
Me either. Totally out on this one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat, you guys, if you would be in or out while we move on to Snarky T. Jenny Lynn, $150,000 for 25% of her company. Basically, this is tea, but it has really snarky names. So tea with an attitude, like Get Your Ass in Bed blend and the Fierce Bitch blend. So lots of attitude, but basically tea. And it's going for $12.99 a tin, and it costs her still $4.34 to make, which is pricey, is what the sharks were saying. I've never made tea, so I don't know what it should cost. But
I don't know either. I did like this product. I thought it was very boutique and very cute. And again, just because Christmas is on the mind, I could throw this into a Christmas. I could think of a few people I could send this as a Christmas present.
Yes.
Or maybe mustache. You know, I got some friends that maybe need to. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. But this for sure is would be a cool original gift, whether it's Christmas or a bachelorette party or like whatever it might be. It's a cool gift idea, very original. Yeah. But as far as buying this on a regular basis, as far as like this is my tea I drink every morning, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I feel like it would have to be less expensive. Now, I don't drink a ton of tea myself, but $12.99 seems kind of high.
Yeah, it's $12.99 and there's 12 packets in there.
Which
so,
seems,
it's
not much to buy it out, but isn't most tea like $7 for a box? So,
it depends on it varies because it depends on what kind of tea drinker you are. If you're gonna get the
fancy tea or not,
you can go to Target and get like a
cheap tea.
$4 pack of 40 things of green tea. You know, it's super reasonably priced. Or you can go, get a nice organic tea that's like tea leaves, and then you can do your.
Right.
It varies from very extreme. So yeah, that's it's just a very cute like party product, I think. So that's what I saw. And then I noticed, I think it was Robert, he said, or one of the sharks mentioned that this was really good marketing and really good advertisement as far as like coming up with the selling point or the cute gimmick. But as far as like an actual product, they were kind of like, meh.
And it was Mark. Mark thought that Amazon would just crush her.
I know.
He said it's just a cute marketing gimmick, but it's easy to replicate.
He was like, Amazon will crush you. Yes. And you're just like, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, but it's cute.
Yes, and so let's catch up in the chat a little. Judy says she didn't like Bethany. I admit I didn't really like her either on the Sharks. And let's just back up to her bio for a little bit because they did talk about how successful she is, which she is, admittedly. I'm not taking that away from her, but she was wealthy to begin with, which also sets her apart from all the other Sharks and all the other fill-in Sharks. So
yeah, and you do see her Skinny Girl. I mean, you see that everywhere. I've been seeing that for years as far as Skinny Girl margaritas and the Skinny Girl popcorn, all that stuff. So I mean, you can't knock her for having successful products, I guess. But yeah, as far as being a shark or a personality on there, I mean, she does come off edgy, I guess, maybe is.
I felt she was almost something. I don't know. I didn't love her. I don't love A-Rod either, though, to be honest. He's not my favorite villain either.
Yeah.
I really like Chris Sacca. He's my favorite.
Yeah, he's
a good villain.
Yeah, he's good.
But But aside from them, because Bethany was the one on the show, she did actually offer a deal. And Kevin and Bethany really got into this one. So Kevin said, of course, he's got his wedding platform, Something Wonderful. He thinks that it would be a great gift. He wanted to partner. He offered $150,000, but for 50%. Remember, she was asking 25. Bethany said that, then she said, well, I want to come in. I'll offer the same as Kevin then. I have a consumables line. But then they did wind up partnering. They did do a little bit of haggling, but together they wound up, Kevin and Brittany, getting 50%. So they just gave away a big chunk.
Bethany.
Yeah. So I thought,
no, you're good.
As I said it, I was like, something just sounded wrong as I said that. What
you
was
are
it?
fine. We all knew what you meant.
Yes. So
but go on.
whoever they were, they got a deal.
They did the deal and they got it.
And I was surprised because actually that brings Kevin and Bethany's ask way down because they're only getting 25% each then.
Yeah.
Not the 50 that they each wanted. So what do you think? Good deal?
I think it was a good deal. I think she did good, especially since everyone was kind of knocking it and unsure about it at first.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she got a deal. I'll be looking into it, and it's almost Christmas. So
I think it's good. She took this deal because she wouldn't have had something else, and I agree.
That is true.
This is a basic tee in a hard market,
and I think that this is really going to help push her to the next level. Like I think that she needed the sharks to help her business.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
like they say, right? Like a small percentage of millions is better than a big percentage of nothing.
Exactly.
So would you have invested? Yay or nay?
I would have, just for my Christmas presents shopping alone.
So you could get a discount on your tea.
I'm all about those discounts, wherever they come from. So yes.
And I am out on this. I think it's a neat product. I just think I would be like one of those sharks that says, well, I don't have experience in this arena. Like, I think it's good, but, hard market. I didn't.
You can buy one of my teas.
I'll buy one.
How about that?
As a
I'll
Christmas
buy one.
gift.
Yeah,
Fantasy Stats, Judy will send some to you. So let us know, you guys, if you would have invested as we move on to the next episode.
Brilliant Pad.
Oh, yes. Brilliant Pad. So now we are talking episode 9, if you are keeping track of episodes. Brilliant Pad, Alan, $500,000 for 5%. Now, this was like the coolest product ever. I'm giving that away. So if you've heard of the self-cleaning litter boxes, and I have 2 cats at home, although I don't have a self-cleaning litter box, this guy actually invented them, and this is the similar concept, but for dogs. It's a pee pad that basically 3 times a day or manually rolls itself up to create a poop tube, is I think how Kevin was referring to it. And what was fascinating is Kevin said he wanted to smell it, and he really stuck his nose. They said that the one they had
disgusting.
Been cooking there. There were 27 leftovers, they said.
Yeah, and he
cooking
had
for a
brought
couple weeks. Yes. And Kevin couldn't really smell it, which is a good sign.
It is a good sign because he would have been brutally honest if he could.
Yes.
And I thought that was a fantastic product because I don't like to pick up poop. I mean, I'm sure that's not something anyone really enjoys to do. And I've dog sat. I don't have any pets of my own, but I've had dogs before. My family has, and I've dog sat. Especially in LA, like you have to pick up your poop when you go walking and put it in a little bag and stuff, and it's just disgusting, and it's warm, and it's smushy.
It is the worst when it feels warm.
Oh, it's so gross. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant.
Except this, I thought actually if Barbara had been on this show, she would have been into it because this is a product for, I feel like, people in apartments who aren't walking their dogs as much.
Yeah.
Like, my dog has a dog run. She just goes outside and goes, we have a backyard when we're not home. But this is like if you want to train your dog to pee inside, which I don't.
There you go. But I mean, yeah, it is a bunch of people have apartments. I mean, that's all we have in LA, of course, unless you have millions of dollars. And everybody has a dog. And so this product is so cool because they go to the bathroom and then you can manually do it if they do it there. Or if you're not home during the day, you can set a timer and then you come home and you don't even have to look at it. Right. You don't even have to know that they went to the bathroom.
That's right.
It just does it itself.
Automatically.
So I think it's a brilliant product. And I'll buy that and then I'll buy my dog,
Get priorities straight. You've got to take care of the poop. So Judy says she's out on the tea. Fantasy Stats. Yes, lots of pooping and peeing on this show. So let's talk offers. Lori was really into this. She offered the $500,000 for but she wanted $5 per unit in royalty, up to $500,000, and then 8%. So she was asking a lot. I felt like higher percentage in equity as well as that royalty. Kevin said that Lori should do a deal with him, but Lori said no, thank you. There was some countering. Lori said she changed it to $500 with the $5 unit royalty, and then 5%, and said she could see infomercials. And Alan countered, saying that his big issue right now is he really wanted to keep money in the company, and so he was worried about cash. So they decided to do 50. Let's see, I can't read.
500,000, and then they did 2.5.
I put counters.
Counters.
I was like, why does it say counter here?
The countertop.
Yes, $250 a unit. And then
5%
credit. So
and the line of credit.
So deal to Lori. Do you think she was the right partner? I definitely do.
I do. I mean, I thought there could be other ones that would be good for this product, other sharks, but I think that what was really cool about this deal particularly is that Alan was very smart when he was doing his negotiations, and when he counter-offered to Lori, it was a very smart, you could tell that he knew what he was talking about, he thought about it, and he made like a decision that was going to be best for his company, that he knew up front would be best for his company. And I think that also comes from his experience with his previous product with the kitty litter. So I think that you could just tell that it was going to be, this is going to be a successful product, because you can tell that the entrepreneur is smart and intelligent and smart in business, and then partnered with Lori, who made a very good deal on that. I think that we're going to see this product everywhere.
I agree. Absolutely. And I think also what was interesting is that he realized that he wasn't just going to be countering to her for, if he said, I just want to give you less money, that would be a turnoff, but he had a really good explanation. I need to keep the cash, so can we do it this way instead? And I think that's also what sold her on it. This is expensive though. Retails for about $150. Now, that's a lot. I don't remember how much the cat one goes for. So
I don't know. He didn't say. I didn't look it up, but yeah, $150 for this thing. But you think about it, if you buy that, people will still buy it, because it's a one-time buy.
Yeah.
And then you can have that for life. And then the refills for the rolls are $20. So and if they last, because he said that it rolls up and it can hold for a month. So if you buy if you spend $20 a month, then that can be justified, especially for your pet.
And I think that's a great point, because sharks love when it's not a one-time purchase. And now you get people on the hook for $20 a month forever.
$20 a month forever.
Now, Fantasy Stat says that he thinks that all the sharks, probably except Mark, could do the retail and infomercials. So he thinks that all of them could have done well, and that Lori probably knew it would be good, so she didn't make it too hard to make a deal. Now, I agree with that about Lori, but I have to say, I don't know about all of them doing infomercials. I don't see Damon, for instance, who wasn't there, as like the infomercial king. I see Lori as like, she's the likable one, the one you want to buy from. So that's her area of expertise.
Right. But I think that the other sharks could have done a deal, and it could have still been successful. Maybe not with infomercials, but, I think it could still be a good sell for them. You know what I mean? Other sharks could have done this. It's not like a sports product that is geared straight towards A-Rod. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. They could all do it, but I do feel like Lori's the best go. So, in or out, would you have invested?
I think that's a yes. That's a yes for Kelsey.
Me too. Brilliant pad. I think this is brilliant. So absolutely. Let's talk Bravo. Hector and Maria, $150,000 for 5%. This is basically an app for people who don't have or carry cash, so that they can tip like valets and other service professionals who are generally used to a cash business of tipping. Even like people on the street playing instruments. And basically the way it works is that you have the app on your phone. There are signs around these other service professionals that say that they accept this app, and you don't have to exchange any private information. So if like with PayPal or Venmo or anything like that, you do this, you just sort of find them in the app, and that's it. So I did not entirely get this. What about you?
I thought this was the most heartwarming story, and I felt for them, and I wanted to like their product because I liked them, but it was something that I felt, like Barbara, it was a little bit confusing. I understood where they were going with the product and how they want to be able to tip people on the street and one of the sharks, Mark, brought up Venmo and PayPal and some of these other pay-as-you-go apps. And they were like, well, the difference with that is that this is private. You can just search by location. But still, it's like Venmo is doing so well. PayPal is doing so well. And I just feel like it's not quite, either it's ahead of its time or it's not really going to make it, because we already have a lot of Apple Pay or like all these other apps that could easily just make a tip app from this. They could expand what they have to be able to send money to people that you don't know, or for businesses. So I don't know. I was like Barbara, I didn't really get it, or I don't know. I didn't like it as much. I liked the people. I didn't like the product.
I agree. I think like I wanted to like them because they had a great story.
They did have such a good story.
But I think it's that people are cheap. And so I think people are going to go, well, like this guitar playing around the street is great, but do I really want to bother getting out my phone and making that much of an effort if I don't have cash? And I just don't think so. There was another element to this, and this is, I think, also what Barbara didn't get, what I didn't get, what you didn't get.
Before you go on, because I want to touch on the point that you just made about people being cheap and stuff. It's like, I have been on the street where, you don't have cash, and I get that, and you might want to tip somebody, but you don't have cash, and so how do you do it? Well, I have seen people put a little chip on their phone and be like, I take credit cards, like for tips and stuff. So I've seen that, and I've still been like, ooh, I'm so sorry. No, not today. Like it's still, it's just part of that. Like, I just feel like it's part of that culture. But okay, move on to the next part of this product.
This was the other part that I think we didn't quite get. They said that they worked with businesses because businesses would be able to tell like who's passing by. Can you explain that? Because I had no clue.
They're
about
using
that.
the location. So like if you're at a restaurant and the restaurant uses Bravo, then you're walking by and you're like, oh, this restaurant uses Bravo, or it'll pop up on your screen like, this restaurant is using Bravo, stop by, like that sort of thing. Like it's some sort of catch, like because of your location, it can pop up and be like, hey, this person also uses this as well, so why don't you pop in, or why don't you listen, or just kind of nudges you towards that direction. But I don't think the brand, this is a lot to do with the branding. Like, we know PayPal, we know Venmo. Those are huge brands. And if they were like, oh, this person accepts Venmo, you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Or even like PayPal, like, oh, this company accepts PayPal. Then you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll stop in. That's what they want to do for Bravo, but Bravo isn't a big enough brand yet to be able to do that yet.
To do anything with it.
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, like I said,
if you're in the chat and you have more to offer, please let us know.
And so I do see that Judy says that, too many apps these days, and it's complicated to do tips.
Yes.
And Fantasy Stats also agreed. Yep, completely. Judy was shocked that Mark invested, and yes, that's where I wanted to get to.
Me too.
I was also shocked that they got a deal.
Yeah.
So Lori and Mark made a joint offer, $150,000 for 15%. Hector and Maria did counter 10%, but then offered 1% each in advisory fees. They countered back, wound up with 4% in advisory fees. So basically 10%.
Each.
So 10%, which means that each shark would get 5 plus 2% additional in advisory fees. So basically up to 7% each. Shocked that they got a deal. Shocked too. So in or out? And we have to move on. Yeah, me too. Completely out. Just let's see. And number 3 now. Up to 3, yes. Had
Hoop
to double
Maps.
check. Hoop Map. So Dante and Dominic, $100,000 for 5%. This is another app. This is an app to find out where pickup basketball games are in town. So if you want to join, so you know where to go, so you don't just show up when people are already playing. Now, I'm with Lori in this. I'm not super sporty. Would you use this? Well,
I've never tried to do a pickup game of basketball, so I'm going to say I would be out on this one. I saw Mark was the shark that I was listening to, I think, the most, because he has a basketball team, so he does all things basketball, and he would be more invested in this than I think any of the other sharks, maybe A-Rod, but mostly Mark. And he had said that there are other apps out there that have tried to do pickup games, or not only basketball but other sports, and they're not doing so well. And he made a good point, as you might try this and do a pickup game and meet a bunch of people, but then you found your people, and then you're gonna be like, hey guys, you want to meet back here next Tuesday at this time or whatever, and everyone's like, sure, sounds good. So you're not using the app. It's like maybe a one time. I think it's kind of like there's a couple apps out there that are like a meetup, and that's what this is, but it's very niche.
Right.
And so with other meetup apps, it's broad, and you can jump on and be like, I'm going to do a sailing, I'm going to do a pickup game. And for this, it's one thing only, and so it really like kind of hurts them a little bit. Apps are just so hard. I feel like that's one of the harder things on Shark Tank is trying, like, and apps are just a really hard thing.
And there has to be something proprietary and making money. And in this, they were going to try and move to a subscription model, but I think it was unclear to the Sharks about how they'd really make money. Yeah. So they did not get a deal. Would you have invested in Hoop Maps?
Nope.
Me either. So let's move on. Final product in the tank, glove sticks. Krista, $150,000 for 10%, and she has glove sticks and shoe sticks. And basically, these are sort of tubes that are plastic with silver ions in it that inhibits 99.9% of all odor within 24 hours. And then there's also an insert that is replaceable, so you have to buy it. So again, something the Sharks like, that gets rid of the odor and deodorizes. So it's something that you can put, because it's a long sort of tube, you can put it easily into gloves and shoes, and it supposedly makes them smell good again.
Yes, and I was kind of questionable on this product as far as like some of these cleaning products, putting it in your shoes, putting it in your gloves. Like, is that really necessary? Like, you can clean your shoes. Like, why can't you just wash them or something? And I was talking to some of my guy friends, and they were like, you can't wash the gloves. Like, my mom tried it one time, and it just completely tore up my football gloves or whatever. And I was like, really? I didn't really think about it. Like, you can't hand wash it, you can't do anything. And he was like, no. So you really do, I guess, need this. And to think about, you know, she did a great job of explaining it, and talking about how it, you know, absorbs the moisture, because the moisture is what is giving you all of the germs and staph and all that stuff. And so I think that she did a fantastic job explaining that, and I kind of jumped on board just because when you can really sell your product, I think that takes you a little bit farther in the tank. And I liked the product, and I would have been an investor. I'd have been in.
And I think also, I mean, she's made $506,000 in just a year and a half, and she's been on QVC 4 times. Yeah. So this is a woman who has proven herself already. So she did get an offer. So Lori, she said that she likes this woman's, she likes Krista's perfectionism and details.
That's what I want to ask you,
So
too.
let me just finish this. So she did ask A-Rod if he wanted to partner together. So they wanted to offer $150,000, but for 20%. So each would take 10. A-Rod said he liked that she was into it. He asked a couple of questions, wanted to make sure she was open-minded. She did counter and say she didn't want to go over 15%, so he asked if they could meet in the middle at that 17.5, which they did. So she wound up with a deal with Lori and A-Rod together. Do you think that they were a good team for her?
Yeah, I think it was a great team. And I took A-Rod a second to really think about if he was going to accept that or not, but in the end, he did take it. The one thing I noticed was they really took a bit of time talking about how she might have micromanaged or been too much of a perfectionist, and I thought that was a very interesting thing to really dwell on right there at the end. Do you think that that was an important thing for them to talk about, or do you think that they kind of stuck on that a little bit too hard or gave her a hard time?
Yeah, I think that it's all in the editing, and it's so funny how we've talked about so many times how certain things from one person get sort of this pass from the Sharks and other things they harp on. Yeah. And normally you'd think they'd love that she does everything herself and works on the details. Yeah. And you're right, they totally harped on her for why didn't you hire someone, but she's doing just fine. So I thought it was great that Lori realized, you're doing a great job. Why would you spend money and do other things when you're doing just fine right now?
Yeah, I'm glad she stuck up for her and was like, I was a perfectionist too, and I love that quality, you know, because they were saying, we don't like it, and she was like, I'm going to change the table, I do.
Yeah,
I agree.
I really liked it, and I thought that Krista was great. This retails for $29.99. The insert is $7.95. Now, they didn't say how often you have to replace the insert that I caught. So would you buy it for $30, and then would you, let's say if you had to replace the insert every, let's say, 4 months, would you spend another $8 on it?
I feel like $8 every 4 months isn't a bad thing.
I guess it depends on how smell. I feel like my shoes don't really smell. I'm not like a smelly person.
Well, the thing is, it's really geared towards sports. You know, it's geared towards football players, basketball players, baseball players. And I think having A-Rod on there was vital. And I don't know that Lori would have done the deal without him.
I think that it was vital. I agree. I wonder. That's an interesting point. I wonder if she would have done it without him. They definitely bring different things to the table, and the chat agrees. Judy and Fantasy Stats both think that the A-Rod Lori combo is going to do really great. And of course, A-Rod gives the sports world that, endorsement, really.
That's a power team.
Power team there.
Yeah.
So would you have been in or out on glove sticks? In. Me too. I think so. I liked her. I like the product, and it's proven. Now, just a quick update from season 8. If you guys remember, Sand Bud. I don't think that's right.
It is. It is Sandtal or Sand Cloud.
Sand Cloud.
There it is.
So my writing clearly was not super clear when I was watching these episodes. So Sand Cloud. These were basically beach towels with a mission. So they were donating a lot of money back. They've made $2.7 million since Shark Tank aired. They partnered with Robert. So good deal. It's always nice when they do well.
Well, and they're doing it for a good cause. I mean, they're out there trying to save marine life, and they talked a lot of statistics about all the plastic in the ocean and how bad that's getting and how there's going to be more plastic than there are fish. So that's a terrible thing, and I'm glad they're doing something that's helping it.
And I remember that one that I was surprised that that Robert even invested. So I feel like they've got a good deal.
I like it.
Stat says he would have been in for glove sticks. So as we wrap things up, I feel like we did a really awesome job getting through 2 episodes. And you guys, next week also 2 more episodes. They're doing lots of back-to-back Shark Tanks. So
lots of products.
Lots of products to discuss. Yeah.
Yes.
So Kelsey, where can everyone find you?
Guys, I'm Kelsey Hightower, and you can find me at Kels Hightower on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. Follow me.
And everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Before I tell you where to find me, thank you for joining us in the chat. If you're listening on iTunes, don't forget to subscribe and give us all those stars and a great rating. You can find me at Real Zoe Hewitt on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on YouTube at Zoe Hewitt Hosting, where I do a weekly movie analysis show. Thank you so much for joining us on our Shark Tank After Show for AfterBuzz TV. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.